Part 2. Pattern recognition. Women with Jezebel spirit. Similarities or correlations to transsexuals. Far as metaphysics. The aggression. The masculine energy. The insinuation as if they're bloodstream is overflowing with testosterone. Anyway. And then the other part of the pattern recognition, all you have to, if you're confused, if this maybe causes you to have a spirit of confusion, critical thinking, mental exercise time. We're going to do some mental exercise. As far as why are you drawing these correlations? Why are you doing this? That's why it's always good to work out. Stay fit. Anyway, mental exercise time. What do I mean by masculine energy, masculine ways? The opposite of femininity. Feminism. Even though women with Jezebel spirit oftentimes are very feminine, they still have that tranny energy. So the mental exercise would be in a alternative reality. Or just imagine Jane Doe has a twin. Alright, Jane Doe has a twin. Or if that's not realistic enough for you or good enough for you, then you'll understand as far as visual illustration and highly weird. You'll understand the concept right off the bat, multiverse. Jane Doe is Jane Doe in this reality. In another reality, in a multiverse, the exact same Instagram model who you follow, you are subscribed to, maybe not, you spilled your seed to, that Instagram model in the back of your mind is exactly the same, except one variation. She has your tone of voice. She has your tone of voice. Your bass in your decimal range that you were born with, she has. She was born with too in this alternate reality. Just like that Spider-Man crap. It's the same person head to toe. It's a woman head to toe, except that one variation. The tone of voice, the bass, you have, the view, you. She has also. Having said that, all the videos you've seen, and not just Instagram models, just social media, all the videos you've seen, women displaying masculine characteristics, traits, masculine energy, getting into disputes, into fights with men, threatening men, trying to fight men, or what is that? An Amazon driver has a debate with these women with this tranny energy, masculine energy. He has a debate with this female through the camera, the camera on her doorbell. A legit debate. And then when it's all said and done, she leaves her house on camera. You see this female leave the house and run this is not a female. The Amazon driver is not a female or a faggot. And it wasn't insinuated that he was feminine or he had feminine energy. And she runs him down like a man. Now just imagine in a multiverse, the same Jane Doe on that camera doorbell had your tone of voice, an Adam's apple. She had the exact same bass levels, chasing this dude down. Would you not just presume right off the back that's a transsexual? Would you just not naturally presume that's a man dressed as a woman, etc.? Screaming, not with a woman's tone of voice, okay, because we're dealing with alternate reality or alternate riff, alternate version of this timeline that we're on, this timeline. In that alternate version, Jane Doe in all of those videos on social media that you've seen trying to fight the opposite sex, debate the opposite sex. What is that word? What is that word? Personal space. Being in his personal space, which is like within 1 foot, maybe 12 inches in front of him, in his personal space, using an outdoor voice reserved for having a dialogue a couple 100 meters away from the person you're having a dialogue with, but within 1 foot of his personal space, using that pitch range as if she was a couple 100 meters away. using an inappropriate tone of voice, or indoors like in her house to her beta male husband, or in the workplace, or in a grocery store with the opposite sex, not with a faggot, a homosexual, not with someone who insinuates faggotry, with inappropriate animations in his members, or inappropriate body language displayed on his person, or sugary animations in his members, his micro expressions, the most minute tremors in all of his members. Just same measure, just as inappropriate a certain set of animations would be in the members of a male. For many women with Jezebel spirit, same measure. Inappropriate animations in her members for a female. As a context, with a grain of salt, as it pertains to the opposites, any variable of the opposite sex, and vice versa is true. Pattern recognition. And then keep in context, we're discussing the web, W-E-B, web. What is the purpose of a spider's web? What is the end game for that black widow? Spider does not spin a web for exercise. It's not an extracurricular activity. We're discussing the World Wide Web. Spiders do not spin webs as an extracurricular anyway. Regarding this web, W-E-B, I'm not shaking my head towards creation. I am not shaking my head towards creation. It's the enemy that makes me sick. Before my animations are taken out of context, the enemy, it makes me sick to my stomach. Anyway, I'm saying the web, the World Wide Web, was not manifest out of the Holy Spirit. It's not a work of the Holy Spirit. Even though the Holy Spirit works through this web, the manifest, or the origin, the embryo, it's not manifest out of the Holy Spirit. Anyway, he's the prince of the airwaves. Anyway, let's get off Jezebel. Any application you were exposed to, any application you were exposed to, anywhere in the Holy Bible Live, anywhere, the workplace, the grocery store, the bus stop, the back of the bus, a female police officer, a female judge, any application with any variable of the opposite sex. Including the computer screen, cell phone, where there was a dispute between the Jane Doe and John Doe. It's real critical you listen to the words. I did not say black man, white woman, green man, blue woman, 20-year-old, 40-year-old. No. There's a reason I said Jane Doe versus John Doe. I have to lay myself insurance, because inevitably black, white, gray variants, my words are going to be, they're going to be used against me. They're going to be deflected. They're going to be taken out of gross context. They're going to be manipulated. Mainly by individuals unbeknownst to themselves. They suffer sociopathy or some variation of psychopathy, unbeknownst to themselves, their own mental health disorders. But I still have to lay myself insurance, because I know what's gonna come. I know what's gonna come because of black, white, gray variants. How cards peel off the deck. All these different character profiles, personality types, all these different metrics, levels, degrees of parental programming, peer selection, peer influence of each selected peer, societal conditioning, levels of exposure to radio, TV screen, big screen, blah, 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 blah. Just how cards peel off the deck. Religious indoctrinations, bankrupt ideologies, bankrupt schools of thought from academia. I just know how these cards peel off the deck, so I have to lay myself insurance. Okay? I know what's going to come as a result of saying these kinds of words, insinuating these kinds of things, these kinds of utterances. Once they're released into the atmosphere. Anyway. Inadvertently, I'm telling you, the viewer, play your cards right. So you never have to worry about being lost in the action on the flop turn of the river. Poker references. Dealer deals the flop 3 cards. The turn, 4th street, that's the 4th card. The river, last card, action is over. That's the last round of betting. That's the last opportunity to check, bet, raise, or fold when the dealer deals the river card. And then there's a showdown. I turn my hand up, you turn your hand up, or one of us folds. Somebody wins, somebody loses. The dealer pushes the pot to the winner. The dealer pushes the pot to the winner. Here, the individual who holds the best hand, the best version of the spirit of truth, the dealer pushes the pot to he holding spirit of truth. Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, if you heard that, or never mind if you didn't. Anyway, everything you've ever been exposed to, real time or on a computer screen, regarding social media, disputes between variables of the opposite sex, Jane Doe and John Doe. Imagine in an alternative rift or an alternative timeline. Multiverse. Even Jane Doe versus Jane Doe. Imagine both Jane Does had your tone of voice. They don't have to have an Adam's apple, but they had your tone of voice, your base level, your decimal range. Would you presume these individuals were naturally born women? Or born men dressed as women? With plastic surgeries and whatnot, etc., which is a mark of the beast, because you're rejecting you're rejecting Father's creation, and you're counterfeiting it with the vain imaginations of men, the imaginations of flesh. So it's not the mark. I said it's a mark of the beast, because you're altering Father's creation with your own vain imaginations. These plastic surgeries to change your outer appearance to something Father did not create. So that in of itself is a kind of mark of the beast. Because you're no longer Father's creation, because you've been altered now. Breastplates have been altered. Buttocks has been altered. Something on one of her members has been altered synthetically. And that's not Father's creation. So in one aspect, she's no longer Father's creation. Anyway, did not mean to pivot. You would presume those two Jane Does were naturally born men. The physical assault, the verbal threats, physical damage sustained, physical injuries sustained. Showdowns, invading invading the other's personal space within 1 foot of one another. Verbal showdowns. Just general application of violence in the atmosphere. That spirit in the atmosphere. With your tone of voice, not hers, in this reality. In this alternative reality, or multiverse, if you will. These Jane Does have your tone of voice. And I had to say all of that, or lay that foundation to let you know what is conveyed, exactly what is meant by masculine energy. Why are you drawing these correlations, Perry? What do you mean masculine energy? Over aggressiveness. As if her blood was flowing with testosterone. As if they were born men, but they were born women. And then the interpersonal relationships, the unnatural, unhealthy obsession, spirit of greed on women with Jezebel's spirit, to dominate, to stand over, stand under, to control, effeminize, emasculate him completely. These betas with Ahab's spirit. The same way you would dominate four-legged member of the family, whose native tongue is not English or Spanish or Cantonese, but rough, meow, meow, etc. Four-legged member of the family. Or the same way you would dominate or stand over, stand under a child, not so much because of their social delinquency, but because they're your child. They're juvenile. The mind is not fully developed. These, and because we have, not because we're better, but because we have spiritual discernment, the Holy Spirit in us, these, when we're exposed to these types of things on computer screen or cell phone, as it pertains to the World Wide Web, it's cringe, it's deeply uncomfortable, even though they could be 1,000 miles away. It's very disturbing in our spirit. It's very, very uncomfortable to watch. Maybe for some of you, it's confusing. Why is he being emasculated? You know, some questions may run through your mind. You know, why is he not defending himself? Why does he not stand up for himself? Which one is the husband? Which one is the wife? And you know this is not a comedy. This is not a rant. Because I said in your spirit, there may be confusion. I said in your spirit, these questions may come up. In the back of your mind. I also alluded to the fact, the atmosphere in your spirit, deep confusion, disturbed, deeply uncomfortable, very, very cringe. Like what is that? Like what? Nails on a chalkboard. Very uncomfortable. If you are ever exposed to these types of toxic, counterfeit business deals or relationships, the mainstream narrative, these are relationships, okay? You're never going to hear anything about psychopathy, sociopathy, commercial news, mainstream narratives. You're never going to hear anything about sexual predators. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. That doesn't fit the propaganda model. These commercial networks. Anyway. Treating mental health is not profitable. Okay? As it pertains to fiat, okay? Even though even though everything in circulation is debt, so I don't what doesn't matter? It's all debt anyway. To these Gentiles, this group, and then the group above them, synagogue of Satan, the rose gold, the counterfeit of the authentic jewelry. Jew, Jewel, Elohim, the Most High Elohim. Anyway, counterfeit of the true jewels of the Christ anyway. It does not, mental health is not profitable. Things will start to rust, dilapidate, deteriorate. Structures, bankrupt schools of thought will collapse in on themselves at some point if they start to all in mental health, all in poverty, homelessness. Certain structures will collapse, cave in, dilapidate. Slowly, the revolving door of the prison industry will stop spinning. Slowly, police will be laid off. Police chiefs will be laid off. What up, bruh? What's up? That's rideshare?
Huh?
That's rideshare?
Yeah.
Like Uber, Lyft?
Yeah. I see you still there, huh?
Yeah, not too much longer. Not for too much longer.
I hear everybody leaving, man. My uncle left.
Oh yeah. They switching over or something. They Pamela did some kind of merger with something called Blue Mountain or something. She's merging with some type of company or something.
Uh-huh.
And she's stepping down. And then the CEO, I guess, he gonna take over. Something.
Run it.
Yeah. So I mean, you deliver products or you pick up people?
I just pick up people, like, say for